Guys, I am in the studio with the Drinking with Drew show. Drew.
What's up, everyone?
What's up, dude? Thanks for being here, by the way, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, guys, we are going to talk about something, probably one of the most important things that we could talk about as a guitar player. And a lot of you are in this boat, or maybe you're just climbing out of this boat, but you played guitar at one point, you're into it, but then you laid it down 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30, some of you 40.
30.
Yeah, 30, right?
Yeah.
You just laid it down at one point, you know, Drew. I think a lot of us say, well, you know, I love playing metal, I love playing back in the day, but, you know, life happened and you just stopped playing. So, guys, I'm sitting down with Drew today to really bring you guys some tips and some things that have helped you through this time, because you laid it down for a while, and we'll talk about that, but you are, you guys heard the intro just now. You're jamming. I mean, you've got your chops back.
I'm trying. It's frustrating when you look back at yourself 20 years ago and you used to consider yourself an awesome shredder. People used to give you compliments. Chicks were throwing bras and panties at you. Who knows? You were living the life, you know, and at some point you decided, hey, I got to earn a real job, career, whatever, and, you know, raise your family, whatever you need to do. Yeah. And I went from playing every day to maybe playing once a month to maybe playing once every 6 months to looking at my guitar to and then I started blaming the guitar when I picked it up because it's not treating me right and all this stuff. So it just literally, I'm 49 now, and I think I stopped playing seriously when I was 19, 20 years old. I tried to get back into it in my late 20s, and I did pretty well. I you know, focused on it, and I started getting I guess some of my licks back and whatnot, but then it was just one of those things, you know. I got divorced, you know, went through a depression, kind of those things in life happen, you know, and it's just, some people will use music and guitars to get them out of it, and I, you know, for whatever reason, man, I buried myself and I just didn't do it, man. I didn't grab my guitar, and I've always owned a guitar. Yeah. And that's what's more frustrating about it is I never sold any of my guitars. I have amps throughout my life, but I didn't really, you know, it's not like I said, screw it and I just sell all my stuff. I'm getting out of this, you know, completely. I just, one day turns to a week, turns to a month, turns to a year. For me, it just never came to fruition. So sometimes you meet people in life that influence you. Maybe you see something online that pushes you to really get aggressive or sparks an idea. And that's what happened with me. I met Jason.
Hey, thanks, dude.
And man, I tell you what, Jason has really changed my mindset with music. His videos are great, and I'm sure all you guys have watched them and learned from them, but from somebody who hasn't, you know, taken guitar playing seriously for 20 something years, wow. It takes a lot to pull yourself out of that ditch.
So what's the first thing that you would tell my audience here, our audience here, like getting back into it? Because I heard you playing. We recorded Drew playing a lot of things, but you guys are going to hear some more awesome riffs that you've been playing. So I can't believe you hadn't been playing for that long. But what's the first thing that you would say as you're getting back into it? What's the first thing you kind of gravitate towards?
Definitely mental health, but also I had some physical, and like I realized as I got older. Yeah. My muscle strength wasn't as strong. You know, I would go from playing 2, 3 hours, 4 hours at a time with no problem to literally spending 15 minutes playing something that I used to play with no problem. Now it's giving me literally muscle aches, you know, and those old, when you first started playing guitar, you're like, man, my fingers are cramping and my thumb was cramping. And, you know, to do that when you're 12 years old or 8 years old learning guitar, that's like, they tell you, that's part of learning, you know, but when you're 40, 45, and you're going through that, it's like, do I really need this in my life? I'm really hurting myself here? But it's just one of those things to where I had to overcome. And honestly, sometimes it's just the finances, deciding, okay.
It's a big thing, man.
Am I going to reinvest? Yeah. And I've done pretty well with keeping my old gear. This guitar is probably 7, 8 years
It's a
old.
nice guitar, by the way. It's an Epiphone, right?
Yeah.
An Epiphone here, and actually, it sounded pretty
It's
nice.
a good guitar. I like it. No locking nuts, nothing tricky. It's just
Simple.
honestly, if I had a tremolo that I had to screw with every time and go out of locking, I just wanted basic. I'm like, look, I don't want to have to deal with that extra intricate build of a guitar to have to worry about. So, but yeah, physical ailments, mental well-being, financial issues. There's a lot that goes into play when you're picking it back up.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. And you said one very important word just now when you talked about the physical elements and talking about you were practicing so much more when you're younger, and now we're having some pains. But you mentioned you just have to overcome that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we get into the mental aspect. And it's not that you don't feel the physical aspect of it, but would you say that some of that is mental, some of the, just pushing through?
It definitely is. And meeting somebody like you and watching your videos, it's inspiring. And, it really is. And I know a lot of your viewers feel the same way. But you just need that push sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you have a friend that lives down the street or a neighbor, whoever that you can play with, a lot of people are playing with Jason virtually online. But even if you could bring somebody in your house and say, hey man, let's jam out, let's have a jam session. I mean, when was the last time? Like, I used to have my friends over at the house just doing a jam session. And now it's, you've got the wife, you got the kids, you got the 10 dogs. It's like jam session.
The 10 dogs, yes.
It's difficult. So making time for it, and not to say everybody out there is going to rush out to want to, be in a band or play on stage again. I used to play on stage all the time when I was younger. Would it be awesome to do that again? Absolutely. But it's baby steps to that point, And if you think about from the ground where I feel like I'm at now is just picking my guitar back up. I've been playing back into it probably a year now. But as soon as I started playing, my amp went out.
Oh, the line 6 you had,
Line 6.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything negative about line 6, but it did me well for 7 years. But as I was starting to play again and just getting my workmanship back, it just died mid-song.
Oh, dude.
Did not want to come back on. I troubleshot this, that, and the other. Tube amp just didn't want to work. So you talked me into getting the 5150. Beautiful amp. I do love it.
The iconic 5150, yeah.
Yep. And I saw Jason playing it at Replay, and it works fine. For me, it's not a humongous amp. I bought the 112.
Yeah, you got the 112, yeah.
So for what I'm doing, it works perfect. And sometimes you just need that extra kick in the ass.
I like it, man. I like that.
I appreciate you for doing that.
Oh, dude, you're welcome. And moving on to another tip, I'd almost say kind of the style that you play. I think it's important, guys, that you play the style that you love. That as you're getting back into it. And I know that sounds like a no-brainer. It's like, well, yeah, I want to play what I love. But Drew, you played some pretty complex stuff, and I want to share a clip of Drew playing this real quick. This is more than just picking it back up and playing a few power chords. Of course, you want to start there, play what's familiar, and just ease back into it, and then I think it will all come back to you. But I want to share this clip real quick. Let's just hear this, and we're going to talk about this, because this is a very important tip. All right, dude, so you weren't just playing power chords. You weren't just playing some simple, like, GDC chords, cowboy chords, what they call it, right, or anything like that. You were playing some riffs. You were playing some single note riffs and some alternate picking.
My inspirations when I was growing up was Nasty Savage, Slayer, Testament, intricate rhythms that kind of could be leads in and of themselves, but they turned them into rhythm. Back when we played, the biggest term when we would go to band practice is we got to get it tight. You got to be tight. And that phrase tight is just when you and another guitarist, bass player, drummer, it's just tight.
It's together, yeah.
And the thing when you're getting back into playing, you're not tight. I'm sloppy. I'm so sloppy right now. It's driving me crazy. And I'm sitting here and I know it's like my mind is there. My mind knows like what I need to do, but my fingers they're just not prepared to do what my mind is telling them to do. And now you've got the picking where I love alternate picking.
Yes.
You could tell that used to be my thing. And, you know, I remember the first time I learned alternate picking, it opened up a whole world to me. I'm like,
oh, dude, yeah.
alternate picking? Oh, cool. I was just doing the, you know, chug, you know. And
yeah, the downstrokes,
yeah, and that was my life for quite some time. Keep in mind, my first guitar that I bought wasn't me buying it. It was my dad buying it when I was 4 years old. My dad passed away a year later, and my mom kept the music in my life. She would buy me, you know, me and my brother. He was a drummer. She would always buy us something for either birthday or Christmas, music related. Yeah. So you have to think, from the time I was a young kid to the time I was 19, I was immersed in music and guitar. And while never an expert lead player like this guy, I used to be a very, very good rhythm guitar player. I could play rhythm guitar, like they called me Little Shredder, Little Ripper back in the day. Nice. When I was 10 years old. I was those kids, I was like, but I wasn't like a kicking ass lead guitar. So that was never really my style. So the rhythms I play have a lot of intricate style picking, double picking, and to lose that and try to gain that back at 49 years old is very complicated.
Yeah, we're climbing up on that 50 mark, you and I both, dude. On the big 5-0's coming up. But I love the fact that you bring this up, that you jump right back into the style. You know, you didn't go for like an easy style. I mean, you know, you and I both love our share of death metal. I mean, you got a Morbid Angel shirt on, you know, a Deicide poster, and the Drinking with Drew show, which we're about to chat about that. I want to tell you guys about a really cool episode that I was on.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we got the Drinking with Drew shirt on, man. I'll share an episode with you guys at the end of this video, so hang around for that, because it was I got the honor of being on your show with a really cool Tampa local death metal band. We'll chat about that shortly. But you went right back into just playing the stuff that you love, man. You're passionate about. I've always been a big believer that you have to do what you love, or else it's gonna suffer. Now, I want to share another clip of you playing, and this is not an easy song to play, so we'll chat about it. But let's hear you jam this out real quick, man.
All right. That is Forbidden. So Forbidden Evil, that is one of my, I would say with Nasty Savage, Slayer, Forbidden was one of my go-to influences when I was a kid. And their playing amazed me. If you ever want to learn or hear some intricate guitar playing, listen to that album. It's Forbidden Evil. It actually just had its 30th year anniversary.
Wow, man! Wow.
I think a week or two ago. Yeah. So it's been around, and that riff was how I learned double picking to a finite, just slow. Learned it slow, and then if you hear them play that, I mean, they're probably playing it twice as fast as I played it just now.
No, so I would say to that, guys, another tip for you guys, the third tip here is to push yourself a little bit. Don't get too comfortable. Drew, it's easy for us just to play power chords and stick with that. And look, I know a lot of guitar players that have been playing for a long time, and they still just kind of stick with the same thing. And look, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I mean, I encourage you guys to push yourself a little bit. Not necessarily play like someone else. You guys know I talk about this a lot. Build yourself up as your own guitarist, as your own musician. Play what you love and allow different things to come out, but challenge yourself at the same time. Push yourself a little bit. And dude, that doesn't look like an easy riff. I mean, honestly, I've been steady playing since 1989, and there was a time or two, and this is why we're doing this video, because there was a time where I kind of laid it down for a little bit, not completely, but I wasn't really into it full steam ahead. Right. Several years, I'd play a few acoustic shows, here and there. And just, but it wasn't like what we're doing now. So, you know, I get it. I get it. There are times in life, you know, life happens. And dude, you gave a very heartfelt story about that in the beginning. So I appreciate you sharing that with us because, you know, we all go through things at our age. You know, you're 49, I'm 48. Look, man, you get up in the years and good or bad, you've been through some stuff, you know, you've been through some
and
stuff.
at this age, I think you need to surround yourself around other people who either appreciate that you're trying to get back into it or ignore you completely. And what I mean by that is sometimes less is better. And if you have a significant other that, you know, maybe their hobby is doing what they do and they leave you alone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's better than them nagging about you playing and having an amp cranked up to 5 or 10, you know. So I had and the reason I say this is I dated somebody in my late 20s, you know, that not only wasn't appreciative of me playing, but always asked me to turn it down, move my stuff in the corner, you know, was not supportive of me getting back into it. And that probably...
That for sure hindered you, man.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
Does.
You know, that could have been a point in my life where I picked it back up and started getting into it. But, you know, that's just important is to, find somebody that's supportive, even somebody that wants to hang out and jam with you, or just leaves you alone and lets you practice on your own. Yeah,
my wife never complains, and we've been, you know, guys, be transparent. You and most of you know this. You know, this is I call it my only marriage, but it's, you know, in truth, it's my third marriage. So I went through 2 divorces before many moons ago. My wife Candy and I have been together for over 15 years now. She's never once complained. She supports me 100%, and it's so important.
It's very important.
Yeah, it's important to align yourself with just like you and I, dude. We're like-minded people, man. We love metal,
and
you know.
Financially, finding the right person that's going to let you spend $1,000 on a guitar instead of going and buying, you know, a new lawnmower or you know something, you know, else. So, you know, that financial ability to spend the money without somebody complaining, very important.
And if they complain about it, you tell that other half, go get a second job so I can buy a new guitar amp.
Right.
That probably won't go over very well. But no, very important tips, man. Dude, Drew is so awesome. I want to hear you play a little bit more metal here. But guys, Drew has a YouTube channel. So his YouTube channel is called The Drinking with Drew Show. I'll give you guys
that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do, Drinking with Drew. I would.
You're empty.
Yeah, I'm empty, man. But I wanted to share his channel with you. Hey, if you want some unfiltered, just some, you know, some really awesome comedy and just unfiltered stuff. I've been on your show several times, and thank you by the way, because it's an honor to be on there.
Absolutely.
Your studio's amazing, dude. I mean, but
we need to do another video of that because I've improved it.
You've improved
a few times since then. So
I don't know how you could improve from what I filmed, but I know you have improved it because I've seen it, and it's just amazing. But I want to point you guys over to his channel. If you want some unfiltered content, just some comedy, just to kind of kick back and just enjoy some cool people talking about some crazy stuff, hey, go check out Drinking with Drew, The Drinking with Drew Show on YouTube. I'm going to point you guys to a specific video with the death metal band from Tampa, Must Not Kill. You guys saw Brad Mader here in the studio a while back, in my studio, jamming, and so that's a really cool episode.
And they just cut a song specifically for my channel.
Yes, dude.
And that was pretty amazing. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. So when you go to Drinking with Drew, you'll hear their theme song. But yeah, check his channel out. I'll have your link in the description of this video as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Drew, thank you, brother, for being on the channel, man. I need to go get a refill. We're gonna do that now, and I'm gonna end the video with some jamming with Drew, and then we're gonna drink with Drew some more after this, man. Guys,
thank you, guys.
Thank you, and keep it metal.